I was challenging a player. It's coaching. My relationship with Caitlin is great. Like, I love Caitlin. I ride with her. Like, we have a great relationship. And I think that the narrative of people trying to make it something that it's not is just, taking sensationalism to try to get some clicks and all the other stuff. We're both competitive. We're both stubborn. This is not new. It's not a new thing. It's just new because everything that she does gets clicks. That's how everybody makes money, right? That's how everybody makes money.
Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Someone is lying here. Someone is not being fully transparent. Either Steph White and Caitlin Clark are refusing to be transparent, or the media and those of us here on YouTube are magnifying an artificial controversy. There is damn near universal opinion that something ain't right with the Indiana Clarks. But according to their head coach and star player, we are singing Kumbaya. We love each other. I love you. You love me. We're America's cutest couple, Kate and Stephanie. Now, in fairness to Stephanie White, she's not wrong. Caitlin Clark isn't just a cash cow for the WNBA dump. She is also a cash cow for the creator economy. However, something definitely seems off here. The Indiana Felines have played 8 games. We are barely a month into the regular season, and Caitlin Clark is arguing with assistant coaches. Steph White is aggressively grabbing her by the arm to pull her off the court. Over the weekend, last weekend, the self-described cutest couple, they were seen getting into a passionate argument on the bench. Now, if this were a one-off, if this was just happening on occasion, no big deal. But the tension with the Indiana Fever, it is happening with consistency. If you want to know who someone really is, if you want to get to know the real person, you have to melt the polish off the turd. And the best way to melt the polish is to apply pressure. When you're first getting to know someone, when you swipe right on Bumble and you're talking with each other through text messages, or you're going on your first set of dates, both you and your date, you are showing the best version of yourself. In the beginning of any relationship, there's no pressure. Everything is fun, everything is new, but over time, the newness wears off. The polish melts off the turd as the relationship progresses. Over time, the real person begins to emerge. When Caitlin Clark entered the league of make-believe, there was minimal pressure to perform. Before she arrived, the Indiana Fever couldn't draw flies to a fresh turd. WNBA players were making minimum wage. The payroll at the local Piggly Wiggly was higher than the payroll for a pretend basketball team in the WNBA. It was her rookie season. There was no pressure on her to win. As a league, the WNBA had nowhere to go but up. Amongst her fan base and anyone with an IQ over 70, Caitlin Clark was perceived as the hero in the WNBA. She is the Great White Hope. She's the only player in the history of this league that found a way to monetize this turd. But now, the pressure is on. Not only is there pressure on Caitlin Clark to win, not only is she under immense pressure to perform, she also has the future of the entire league on her shoulders. I have been telling you guys since negotiations started for the collective bargaining agreement, where the WNBA agreed to vastly overpay unknown players. Once WNBA players started getting paid, once the league started demanding more money from the networks, the pressure would be on. And for the most part, that pressure is falling on Caitlin Clark. There's no pressure on AJ Wilson, but my name is Asia.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
There's no pressure on Asia Wilson and the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces to draw television ratings. There's no pressure on the Chicago Bravado, the Golden State Vikings. When is the last time you heard anything about Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wankers? Now, you could make the case that there is a little bit of pressure on Angel Reese, but the overwhelming majority is on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Felines. Every single game is nationally televised. The WNBA's performance on television, it is heavily reliant on Caitlin Clark to draw ratings. In order to sustain ratings, in order to sustain mainstream interest, she's got to win. I don't care how dynamic a player is. They can be the biggest star in the league. No one is watching a loser. No one is going to watch a losing team. This is just me speculating, but I'm starting to wonder if the pressure is getting to Caitlin Clark and the Fever. And that's why we continue to see these outbursts. Yesterday, Caitlin Clark spoke to the media after practice. Naturally, she was asked about the ongoing tension between her and Steph White. Pay very close attention to the verbiage that Caitlin Clark is using. Maybe it's just me, but it sounds like Caitlin Clark and Steph White are reading off of the same script. We just heard Steph White say, "I love Kate. I ride with Kate. She's my ride or die." And right now, both of our careers seem to be dying. Listen to what Caitlin Clark says. Watch it for yourself.
Two people being competitive, people that really want to win. But there's a lot of people out there in the media or on TV that they think they know a lot of things and they're just blatantly wrong about a lot of things. And I ride for Steph. I ride for these girls. Steph has my back more than anybody. It's just another example of what everybody, all of you, want to blow up and make something that is just lost and not in reality. When I got hurt at the Connecticut game last year, like, I bawled in Steph's arms. Like, that's somebody I will ride for the rest of my life. Like, those are the moments that people behind, people don't see that. People that just sit on their phones all day, they don't see those moments. They don't see the moments where we come into work. They don't see the moments that really absolutely suck, that people have your back, but they think they know everything. In reality, they don't have a clue. Me and Steph both know what it is, and that's somebody who I will always ride for. She had my back when really nobody else did.
I find it interesting that Caitlin Clark is claiming Stephanie White has had her back when no one else did. As you guys know, Uncle Casey is not necessarily a fan of Caitlin Clark. And what I mean by that, I like Caitlin Clark. If I'm bored on a Saturday night in the middle of June and there's nothing else on TV, I'll watch Caitlin Clark play. She's the only player in this league that I'm willing to watch. But I'm not one of her diehards. I don't think Caitlin Clark walks on water. But I thought it was interesting. Caitlin Clark claimed that Stephanie White had her back when no one else did. Because for the last 3 years, when the entire league was against her, when she was being physically attacked by jealous WNBA players, when she was being diminished, when the mainstream media was trying to credit unknown WNBA players for elevating this turd of a league, Caitlin Clark's fan base had her back. Caitlin Clark's fan base has relentlessly defended her. Hell, sometimes their defense of Caitlin Clark doesn't even make sense. Sometimes, in their eyes, she can do no wrong. But no matter what, her fan base, those people sitting on their phones, they have defended Caitlin Clark, no questions asked. Meanwhile, her supposed ride or die Steph White, she is drafting her potential replacement in the first round of the draft. She is telling CBS the other night that the Felines' offense is better with Raven Johnson running the point. Steph White is aggressively grabbing her by the arm. She's yelling in her face on the sidelines. She is benching Caitlin Clark 2 or 3 minutes into the game. Saturday night, Caitlin Clark took a grand total of 7 shots. Now, someone please explain to me how the best player on your team is only taking 7 shots. Maybe everyone else is wrong. Maybe we're all just making shit up. Maybe everything between Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White is copacetic. But that does not change the fact that something seems off with Caitlin Clark this season. Like I told you guys the other day, she doesn't have that spark. The magic is gone. Caitlin Clark appears to have lost her confidence. During her rookie season, Caitlin Clark only had 4 games where she played between 20 and 29 minutes. Now, she had 1 game where she played 19 minutes, but it was the final game of the season, and if I remember correctly, the Fever had already made the playoffs, so that game was essentially meaningless. Her rookie season, 4 games where she played less than 30 minutes. Last year, she had 5, and the vast majority of those came in July when she was trying to come back from injury. 8 games this season, Caitlin Clark has played less than 30 minutes 3 times. Her shot attempts are down drastically in the last 4 or 5 games. So when her fan base complains about Stephanie White phasing Caitlin Clark out of the offense, it's kind of hard to dispute their point. Again, Caitlin Clark is not blameless here. She's had a rough start to the season. She's averaging, I think, 4 turnovers a game. She's a liability defensively. But the last couple of times I have watched Caitlin Clark, she doesn't look like herself. To me, it looks like she is trying to conform to Stephanie White's system, which seems to be holding her back, instead of Stephanie White creating a system that maximizes the strength and the talent of her star player. I'm just having a very hard time believing. I'm having a hard time biting into the shit sandwich that they are serving. According to both Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White, we are besties, we are friends, we love each other. The problem is, what we see on the court doesn't match their words. In the last 3 years, I don't remember seeing Caitlin Clark this visibly frustrated. Sure, there have been times where she has argued with officials, but every star player argues with officials. She's had altercations with opposing players. I don't remember seeing her be somewhat combative with the media, though. I don't remember seeing her... Hell, she kind of called out her fan base. It seems like the pressure is starting to get to Caitlin Clark. Now, in her defense, no other athlete has the future of the entire league resting on their shoulders. The NBA is going to survive with or without LeBron James. The NFL will survive without Patrick Mahomes. Major League Baseball will survive with or without Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge. But with their current salaries, the TV deals, the WNBA can't maintain those without Caitlin Clark. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.